On this episode of Health Watch, we are talking the prevalence of stroke in the United States and here in Eastern North Carolina. And we're going to talk about some of the warning signs you can look out for when it comes to stroke, because it can be treatable if you call 911 as soon as you recognize those symptoms. To talk more about it is Dr. Amardeep Saund, a vascular neurologist from ECU Health. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
When we hear about stroke, often can be terrifying to think about it, and especially if you've had a loved one, a family member who's gone through it, to see how it can affect them. How prevalent is stroke in the United States?
Good question. Stroke is actually pretty prevalent. 1 in 5 people can have this, and it actually affects about 800,000 U.S. Americans each year. Stroke is the 5th leading cause of death in the United States, and there's different risk factors associated. Some people are more prone, especially high blood pressure. If they have atrial fibrillation, or if they're a previous stroke survivor, you are actually at increased risk of having a future stroke.
Let's talk about the warning signs, because there are several that people need to be on the lookout for, and sometimes they may not recognize, hey, this is the sign of a stroke.
Right. So there's a good acronym. It's called Be Fast. So you want to look for balance if they're having difficulty with their gait, their eyes, if they're having double vision or having complete loss of vision on one side. You want to look at their face if they're having any drooping for the F. And then for A, you want to ask for if there's any arm weakness. And for S, you want to look if they're having any speech problems, if they're slurring. And for T, time is brain. You want to act fast.
Now, all of these individually, maybe sometimes people will overlook the symptom. Oh, it's not a big a deal. I'm dehydrated. I didn't get enough to eat. But it's still something to take seriously and maybe seek out treatment if you're feeling this or know someone who is experiencing this.
Of course, yeah. You definitely want to see if you're having these symptoms, and you can even refer to stroke.org. If you're thinking you're having these symptoms, you can take a picture, upload it, and see if they're having these symptoms.
According to the American Stroke Association, women actually face a higher risk of stroke. What's some of the science behind that, and what can women do?
Yes, that's a good question. Women actually are at increased risk, especially if they're in the terms of pregnancy, if they're on birth control pills, if they have preeclampsia, also if they have atrial fibrillation. It's actually the 3rd leading cause of death for women, and about 55,000 women each year, more than men, actually are at risk of having a stroke.
Is there a specific age range where it becomes more prevalent, or can this, depending on the situation, happen at any point in someone's life?
It can happen at any point, at any time in life, but typically in your 40s. This is where the increased risk happens more.
All right. What are some of the ways when we talk about prevention? What are some simple things, maybe some lifestyle changes people can do to hopefully prevent a stroke and the symptoms of a stroke?
Right. I think blood pressure is a big key thing. This is something that is preventable. If we can treat that, take your medications and lower it. Other things are lifestyle modifications. You want to avoid smoking, vaping, live a healthy diet. Exercise is good. Mediterranean diet, eat a lot of fish, vegetables, fruit, lean chicken. These are all things that we can do.
On this episode of Health Watch, we are talking the prevalence of stroke in the United States and here in Eastern North Carolina. Our guest today is Dr. Amardeep Saund, vascular neurologist at ECU Health. When we were talking about the symptoms and spotting some of the warning signs, spotting these signs quickly and calling 911 quickly can make a world of difference. Why is the urgency and the quickness to respond to this so important?
As I said, time is brain. As you're waiting, millions, if not close to trillions, of brain cells are dying with each minute that is passed. And now, as science has advanced, we have a lot more technology when it comes to treating our patients, especially when it comes to giving them medications such as TNK or a thrombectomy and just removing that clot that's there.
So the earlier it can be treated, the better the prognosis for long-term health.
Yes, of course.
The American Stroke Association has developed a new interactive tool called the FAST Experience. What exactly is the FAST Experience?
So you upload a picture of yourself, and it can tell you if you're having symptoms of a stroke.
So it's simple as that.
Yep. Simple as that.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of technology in a medical setting in the hospital. This is a way we can use our technology right on our phone, right in our homes to kind of get that information as quickly as possible.
Of course, yeah. You just upload a picture, as I said. You put in the symptoms that you're having, and it can tell you if these are signs of a stroke or not.
So more than 1 in 3 American adults has high blood pressure, as we talk about that, but they don't know they have it. Is that something you should check with your doctor on, and maybe your yearly physical, just kind of be able to stay on top of that, because high blood pressure, as you mentioned, can lead to other problems?
Of course. Definitely follow up with your PCP. Check your blood pressure regularly. I always recommend my patients checking it twice in the day with a blood pressure cuff. Once in the morning before you've taken any medication, and once in the evening, either before bed or even after dinner.
And as we talk about the prevalence of stroke in the United States, is there any difference, good or bad, here in Eastern North Carolina as far as what you see on a daily basis from patients in and around the Greenville area?
Yes, we're definitely in the stroke belt here. It's a lot more underpoverished area and a lot more fast food that we do see here. Because of that, the blood pressure is a lot higher. It's very uncontrolled here, and cholesterol levels are a lot higher.
And that goes back to maybe your lifestyle changes, especially as you get into your 40s. Hey, you need to really take note of what you're eating, your physical activity, because it all plays a part in staying healthy.
Of course, you definitely want to take care of your body, still live your life, but everything comes within moderation.
Our guest today is Dr. Amardeep Saund, vascular neurologist at ECU Health. As we talk the prevalence of stroke in the United States, is there anything that we haven't touched on that you think people should know that will help them stay hopefully healthy and happy?
I think understanding the warning signs and following up with your primary care, these should be your first thing to do.
It's as simple as that. Just stay on top of things day to day as far as your health goes.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that you're eating healthy, exercising, understanding the warning signs that can come with this. Avoid smoking, because smoking can actually increase your risk by almost 50%. Vaping is another thing that's up on the rise, and that also plays a big role in stroke risk.
And that seems that's something vaping in the last 10 years or so that's really increased, especially among younger people. Are we noticing maybe those younger folks in their 20s and into the 30s, it affecting them adversely in ways that maybe we didn't expect 10, 15 years ago?
Oh, of course. I think it's definitely on the rise that we're seeing more and more young patients having strokes, especially under the age of 50 now. And I think vaping is a big cause for this.
Dr. Amardeep Saund, vascular neurologist at ECU Health, thank you so much for this information. And is there any way for people online maybe to get more info about how to stay safe and stay healthy when it comes to stroke and stroke symptoms?
Definitely. I think we have a lot of online resources from our American Heart Association and stroke.org. There's definitely pamphlets there, and they can give you a lot of education.
Dr. Saund, thank you so much for being with us on Health Watch today.
Thank you so much.
Continuing on on our stroke conversations. I am Mesa Jones, and today I'm joined by stroke survivor, Mr. Don Edwards. Hi.
Hi, glad to be here.
All right, so describe to me the feeling of a stroke and when you had yours.
Okay. My stroke was a couple of years ago. It was early in 2023, and I was just driving the car to actually a wedding reception, and all of a sudden I felt like I was about to faint. Felt like I was about to pass out. Became extremely nauseated and just felt absolutely horrible. I was driving the car, and I said to my wife, I can't drive anymore. I need to just pulled over to the side of the road. She drove me home, and that night I was just violently sick on my stomach. I would just say it, throwing up really for an extended period of time, and felt, just bad. With not the headache was there a little bit, but I just felt mainly it was not being nauseated. And that lasted the entire night, and I just felt absolutely horrible. And I thought I had food poisoning, and I think that may be a little abnormal for stroke. Some of the, sometimes you go numb and have some other symptoms, but the symptoms I mainly had was just being extremely nauseated and feel like I was about to pass out.
Okay, so that was the leading up, not like the actual stroke, or
that was when it was confusing to me, because that is actually when I think I was having the stroke, but I didn't know I had it, and I don't know how often that happens with stroke victims. So to continue that, I felt better the next day. So I said, I must have food poisoning, and so what happened, I also had lost my balance. My equilibrium was not good. So as time progressed over the next few days, I felt better. But my balance was not right, and I felt like something was wrong with me. So I called a physician that I knew, and I actually thought I might have vertigo. I just didn't know what I had. And when I described my symptoms to him, he said, go get an MRI. So literally about 10 days later, I got an MRI and got the results, and the results revealed, I don't know how that exactly works, that at that time it showed up that day I had a full, and it was not a TIA, that's a mini stroke, I guess. It was a full-fledged, I think it was called a 4 millimeter. It was a small stroke, but I think I just had a blood clot in my brain.
Wow. So I know you said that your symptoms were abnormal. Is it like normal for it to last that long over?
Well, I just think when I've read about some of the symptoms of strokes, I didn't have some of the. So many times you're numb, and I've read the symptoms of the stroke, and mine again had everything to do with just feeling bad and being nauseated. So I think that was, I guess certainly that's a symptom of a stroke, but maybe not as much as some of the other symptoms that you have.
Previously, were you like the type of person to go to the doctor and get checked up, or were you scared of the doctor?
Well, I would have to say this. I'm a guy. I think guys, I think girls are just better about going. My wife is much better about going to the doctor. But I am a very healthy person. And I do think if there's any advice or anything, I can say that I think, I don't know this for sure, but I've got very few, if maybe no symptoms from my stroke after continuing to progress. I seem to have my balanced recovery. So I do think that I eat right, I exercise a lot, not a stressful person. So I do think living a very healthy life probably helped me survive this stroke.
The way you did.
I don't know that for sure, but that's what I think.
So what were your habits like before you were healthy and active? Or
well, I'm a big walker. I've always been a gym person. And I drink a little bit of alcohol, but a little bit of red wine, not much at all. And I just live a very, very healthful life, mainly with diet and exercise both. I eat right and I exercise regularly.
Okay. Do you think what habits do you think contributed to it or led to it?
I think I think it's an abnormal. I think it can show you that anybody can have a stroke because I'm not somebody that anybody would think. I mean, I think things like smoking and excessive drinking and sedentary lifestyle, I would guess all of those things could make you more likely to have a stroke. But so my lifestyle was very, very healthy. So it was like, so I was the kind of person like, what? You had a stroke?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, yes, I did. A full-fledged stroke. I had
Wow.
it. It surprised me.
Do they like run in your family? Has anybody else had a stroke?
No,
or
there's no history of stroke. Well, I take that back. My dad did have little mini strokes as he got very old. So, the little common, like they've described those as like if you're a loaf of bread, each time you have a little mini stroke, it's like taking a slice of bread out of the loaf. So he would have little mini strokes. So yes, I guess there's that history, but nobody in our family has ever had a stroke.
So what was recovery like? What did that look like?
Well, the recovery was just really, really good. I felt like I got excellent care and did the things I was supposed to do afterwards. So the first thing I did was go visit, get an appointment. My next door neighbor is a wonderful cardiologist, and he directed me to and I've been told don't say any names, so I'll just say I went over to, I guess I can say ECU Health, and got with a great cardiologist, and they did a kind of an ultrasound check on me. I remember that for carotid arteries where they put something, around your neck. Oh. I got a heart monitor, and I had to wear the heart monitor for a month and did maybe some other testings. Maybe I don't really recall, maybe an EKG. But all of those tests, particularly I wore the heart monitor for a month. And really, ironically, after all that period of time, I basically was pretty much symptom-free. I also went to the neurologist, and they did all the tests, like, put your hand, all the, what should I call it? I'm trying
like
to...
function test?
Yeah, I guess a function test to make sure that I could touch my nose and walk and balance and all those things. And all of that proved to be normal. So really, after... and then I had a follow-up visit. So after maybe several months of going to the neurologist a couple of times and going to the cardiologist a couple of times, I was kind of like released. like come back in 2 years.
Oh wow!
So I just feel really blessed and very, very fortunate that my symptoms of this stroke have been very, very minor. Somebody commented that they thought I was dumber than I used to be.
Oh my God.
So I think I've gotten a little. Now my memory. Sometimes I worry, but I think my memory is just being not that young anymore. I think I just have the normal
Just with
memory
time.
issues that everybody has.
Yeah. How long was that process? I know you said you went to all these different doctors. You went to the neurologist.
I think that process was only from an appointment and a follow-up, and I could pull my chart. But that was no more than like 90 to 120 days of them studying me with all of the tests and things that they did, and I was just very, very lucky.
What were their biggest recommendations for you?
Well, just to continue so I did make sure I take a statin. A statin is something that lowers your cholesterol. I take an aspirin. I don't think I took an aspirin. I think the aspirin is a blood thinner, just a very small 81 milligram aspirin. And then, of course, the normal things that everybody should do, like eat right, get exercise, try to stay stress-free, get plenty of rest. Okay. So I think just carry on and just do what we all should be doing for our heart health.
So outside of that, did you make any other significant changes afterward?
There have been really no changes in my life. I think I did try to maybe cut back on work a little bit. I'm a busy person still. I'm not retired. I'm kind of halfway retired, but decided that, maybe I need to try to have more fun.
Take a little time to yourself.
I have plenty of fun anyway, but but really not anything, because my lifestyle was kind of what it would be to have good heart health prior to the stroke.
Okay. Who's like the main key player in your recovery? Who helped you the most?
Of course, it's my wonderful wife. She's just great. She's always supportive and good. And so, she's been my partner in this, and she's wonderful. But there really hasn't, considering, having a stroke, I think I've had just a better than normal outcome. Yeah. So there wasn't that much that had to be done relative to what I've seen with people that have had certainly more side effects from the stroke.
Yeah. So they couldn't really tell you like what ways you could have prevented it because you just couldn't tell.
I think there's absolutely nothing I could have. I mean, might not be the best thing for here for this interview. I'll have to say this. I don't think there's anything I could have probably eaten a little bit better.
Yeah.
I mean, my diet is good, but I guess it could be better. I could probably always, drink more water and eat more vegetables, but I do have a good diet. But I think the thing that I take away from this is I think my heart-healthy lifestyle, by living the right life to be healthy, I think minimize the effects of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that that's exact. I mean, I feel like that's what I say, and I think the physicians would agree.
Yeah, it's honest. So it's the best way to be. I was curious, like, are strokes like once you have one, you're more prone to having another one?
Yes,
or
you are.
You are, okay.
Yeah, I think that is right. So I guess I have to be careful
those
because that's
preventative
once you've had a
things.
stroke, I think you are more likely to have another one.
Okay. Well, outside of the things that you have said, what would you recommend to anyone that is?
I would recommend everybody, because I'm a fanatic, to get a lot of exercise.
Yeah. What do you do? What type of exercises?
Well, I go to the gym.
Okay.
I go to the gym frequently, and I also, one of the things that I've done later, and I used to do all kinds of other exercises too. I bike right much, and the biking is not. And I'm not a young person, so it used to be go road bike and try to just bike around leisurely in the neighborhood. That's good, and I walk all the time too.
That's
so
good.
I mean, again, the exercise has changed a little bit as I've got older to be more exercise. Like more exercise for an old person instead of a 30-year-old.
Yeah, but at least you're doing it.
Yeah, just stay active.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Good. I hope this is helpful. The American Heart Association is it's just I've been involved in that. It's a wonderful organization that does a lot of good things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. I'm sure this will inspire many
Okay.
who
Well, I
have dealt
hope
with the same thing. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching ENC Health Watch, and we'll see you guys next time.